We all have that one person who makes us feel very uncomfortable whenever they're near us. It could be because they made rude comments about us to our faces or constantly trying to brag about their weird accomplishments. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do besides ignore them, but sometimes their presence is just too overwhelming. That's who this person was for me. Today's story time is about my classmate who constantly threatened to stab me in class. For the sake of this story time, I'm gonna give this individual the nickname Scissors, and you'll soon see why. One day, my social studies teacher decided to change the seating arrangement for our class, so I was assigned to a spot between Scissors and another student. And this unfortunately started a series of terrifying events. One day when we had an exam, Scissors pulled out a pair of scissors and threatened to stab me if I didn't let him copy the answers off of my paper. This was a multiple choice quiz, so if he wanted to, he could have just picked random answers, but I'm assuming he thought because I was quiet, I most likely was smart. This is a very terrible misconception people have because, joke's on all of you, I was dumb and quiet. This is all to say, I still don't know why he would decide to cheat off of me because I was definitely failing that class. However, when I tried to tell him this, he really didn't care. So whatever grade he got after that, that's on him. Anyways, despite only being 2 inches from the teacher during all of this, she didn't give this interaction the time of day. And since I knew I wasn't being protected, I decided that this isn't my issue, and I let him copy the answers off of my paper. To ensure that the teacher didn't try to accuse me of anything, I decided to change all of my answers at the last minute, even if it meant that my score would fail. And, spoiler alert, I did. I don't know if your school had this, but my school used to let kids buy Valengrams for Valentine's Day. Valengrams are basically little gifts such as candies or a flower that students can buy and have sent to their friends or crushes, and this could all be done anonymously. In that same year, my best friend and I decided that we would buy each other Valengrams, but with a twist. We both didn't have a significant other to send these gifts to, so we decided we'd pretend to be each other's special someone. I don't know why we didn't decide to just send it to each other like normal friends, but we just wanted to be a little bit extra this year. So on these Valengrams, you can write a note to the person receiving the gift. So we decided to write each other little lovey-dovey notes and used our non-dominant hands to write the letters so no one could tell it was us. But I'm pretty sure no one even batted an eye when we did receive these gifts. But it was still fun for us. I also decided to buy myself a crushed soda Valengram because my mom loves crushed sodas. When the day came and I got my Valengrams, I was excited to bring them home, but unfortunately I didn't have anywhere to put the drinks. I never used my locker because I sucked at opening it up, and I didn't have a backpack. I only brought one of those weird intense folder bags that you can zip up, but there wasn't enough room in there, so I decided to just carry the drinks with me. This unfortunately was a terrible mistake because apparently Scissors is also a fan of crushed sodas, and so he told me to give the drink to him, and when I refused he threatened to stab me again. So trying to avoid any trip to the hospital for a can of soda, I decided to just give it to him. This wasn't too big of a deal because I got an extra soda sent to me by my best friend, but it sucked that I lost out on having 2 drinks. This last story is a short one. So one day in social studies class, we got our grades back from the teacher, and I was devastated because I had a really low score in the class. I think it was either a C or D. Now I know for some people, C's or D's, they might not be that big of a deal, but the thing is, with my family, A's and B's were almost an expectation. So I was terrified because I was worried I was going to get the scolding of a lifetime. At that point, I couldn't hold my emotions in any longer and started crying in class. Scissors took notice of this and he ran up to me to cradle me in his arms. This was extremely terrifying and I was nervous because knowing his history of behaviors, this could go one or two ways, and I didn't want it to go down the wrong path. Instead, he started praying loudly and reciting random Bible verses. At that moment, I was becoming even more worried because I thought he was going to stab me and then sacrifice me to God. But then all of a sudden he starts to dip me in this imaginary water, and then all of a sudden he stands me back up and tells me that I've been blessed and that the baptization is over. I think he was trying to cheer me up. Either way, it somehow worked and I felt a little better. Surprisingly, this was the nicest thing he had ever done for me, but it still doesn't change the fact that he tried to stab me and other students, including my best friend, several times throughout the year. Seriously, why weren't the teachers watching us? Currently, I don't know what Scissors is up to nowadays. The last I heard of him was that in my junior year of high school, a certain incident happened that led the entire school to join in a walkout. However, the school sent out police officers to force students back to the school if they took part in this. But Scissors didn't really care about that and decided he wanted to go home anyways, but he was soon tased by one of the officers. I'm not sure how true all of this was because I wasn't physically at the school. During this time, I enrolled in a program that allowed me to take classes at a local community college. I did this so I could get a head start on my education and get away from the chaos that was happening at my high school. I swear, anytime you're not at school, something always happens. Anyways, that's all for today's video, and if there's any lesson that I want you to take from this, it's that there are psychos out in this world, and if you're careful enough, you might survive. So thank you guys for watching today's video. It was fun walking down traumatic memory lane, and I hope it was a fun one for you. Bye!